Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to yet another video from St. Petersburg in Russia. And today I am here at the heart of the city of St. Petersburg, the city center, which is called Nevskiy Prospekt. And today I'm going to explore some of the very popular and beautiful destinations here at Nevskiy Prospekt. So stay tuned till the end of the video to enjoy every bits of this happening city center of St. Petersburg. Take a look around the city, the hustling, bustling, evergreen locations here in the center of St. Petersburg, and also two very popular monuments here at Nevskiy Prospekt, namely the Kazan Cathedral and the Church of the Savior on the Spilled Blood. So stay tuned in this video as we explore the beautiful city of St. Petersburg. So I just came out of Nevskiy Prospekt metro station and now I'm going to walk down the street here at Nevskiy Prospekt, which is always busy and full of people, very happening and bustling place. And we will be walking down to Kazan Cathedral, which is also the canal, one of the most popular destinations or one of the most popular spots here at Nevskiy Prospekt. Whenever someone is on a city tour in St. Petersburg, everyone wishes to walk or at least see from a car window how gorgeous Nevskiy Prospekt, the main street of St. Petersburg, is. Some people call it Avenue, which is absolutely correct, but if you are in Russia, you must call it Prospekt. But why Prospekt? Well, Prospekt is a very common word in Russian language and it is used to describe a broad, long street. However, the origin of this word is Latin. So the Tsar of St. Petersburg, that is Peter the Great, really liked to use foreign words. So the word prospect comes from perspective or prospective and it's shortened to prospect. This word envisages Peter the Great's talent of being ahead of his time, creating new perspectives for his country. So a special place like St. Petersburg in the Tsar Peter the Great's understanding was given to make St. Petersburg Europe's one of the best cities, which was to be a very prosperous city with many perspectives in the future and stunning architecture and perspective roads, which I think has been realized. The dream of Peter the Great has been fulfilled. The building that you can see across the road with some amazing architectural designs is actually a bookshop, also known as Dom Knigi. Isn't that absolutely marvelous? This is an iconic building here in Nevskiy Prospekt. While you are walking down Nevskiy Prospekt, you cannot fail to notice the impressive cathedral of Our Lady of Kazan, also known as Kazan Cathedral. This cathedral was constructed between 1801 and 1811 by the architect Andrei Voronikhin, and it was built to an enormous scale and boasts an impressive stone colonnade encircling a small garden and central fountain. So right now I'm standing in front of the Kazan Cathedral, which is a very prestigious monument here at Nevskiy Prospekt. So let's go inside and learn about the history of this place and also explore it to its entirety. The cathedral was inspired by the Basilica of St. Peter's in Rome and was intended to be the country's main Orthodox church. After the War of 1812, during which Napoleon was defeated, the church became a monument of Russian victory. Captured enemy banners were put in the cathedral and the famous Russian Field Marshal Mikhail Kutuzov, who won the most important campaign of 1812, was buried inside the church. The cathedral was named after the miracle-making icon of Our Lady of Kazan, which the church housed till the early 1930s. The Bolsheviks closed the cathedral for services in 1929 and from 1932 it housed the collections of the Museum of the History of Religion and Atheism, which displayed numerous pieces of religious art and served anti-religious propaganda purposes. A couple of years ago, regular services were resumed in the cathedral, though it still shares the premises with the museum, from whose name the word atheism has now been omitted. The massive columns of the Kazan Cathedral do remind you of the architecture of Rome. It is very Italianesque and it is pretty understandable because the inspiration was St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. The Orthodox Church inside the Kazan Cathedral was opened on June 17, 1737, and later it became the home of the much revered icon of Our Lady of Kazan that Peter I had ordered. The church became the main church of St. Petersburg. The church was where Empress Catherine II became an Orthodox Christian and married her husband, Emperor Peter III. By the end of the century, the church had been granted the status of a cathedral but had become dilapidated. On ascending the throne in 1796, Emperor Paul I ordered a new, larger cathedral to be built to house the national icon as a replacement for the Church of the Virgin Mary. This was my first time entering into an Orthodox Russian Christian church, and I was pretty spellbound by the beautiful architecture and also the amazing peaceful vibe inside the church. Although I don't know much about the history or the practices that Orthodox Christians do, seeing them devoted to their God, seeing them practice the various religious practices that they believe in, really made me feel very special and very peaceful. Wherever you go, whether it's a temple or a pagoda or a church, you will surely feel the power of the supernatural, the super powerful, the omnipresent, and also you will feel a very amazing, peaceful environment inside, and that's the beauty of such holy places. So there it was, you saw the beautiful Kazan Cathedral from inside as well as from outside. Wasn't it absolutely beautiful? Yes, it's an Orthodox Christian church here in St. Petersburg, but it was amazingly beautiful. Now we will head over to our next destination, which is the church on the Savior of the Spirit Blood, also known as the Church of the Resurrection of Jesus Christ. So it is just the opposite to this particular cathedral across the road. So we will walk down to that particular church and explore it to its entirety. Stay tuned, more exciting things coming soon. So now we are going to cross the road, go across the street to our next destination. So come along as I walk across the streets. Crossing the street, I once again came across Dom Knigy, which is the beautiful and majestically architectured building. And I couldn't help but explore the bookshop and go inside. Of course, there are other cafes and restaurants upstairs, but what attracted me the most was the bookshop on the ground floor. As you can see, we start with some notepads, some stickers, some notebooks, which are themed across St. Petersburg. You can also find some games, some jigsaw puzzles. So you can find everything here related to St. Petersburg, its history, its architecture, and this is the perfect place for you if you want to learn Russian or you want to learn about the history of St. Petersburg. As you can see, you can also find books of some famous authors and poets of Russia. And of course, there are a plethora of souvenirs for you to collect and buy for your loved ones. St. Petersburg is known as the Venice of the North, and it's not just a name. This name is absolutely justified because St. Petersburg has numerous canals just like Venice. And if you're already aware of the beautiful gondolas in Venice, you will find a lot of that here in St. Petersburg as well. Yeah, maybe they are not gondolas, but definitely motorboats. And when the water of the Neva River is not frozen, that is in the spring, summer, and fall season, tourism is at its peak. And tourism on these canals across the waterways is a favorite amongst people, not only the Russians but also the foreigners. So, whenever you are in St. Petersburg, do not miss out to go on a boat ride. This will be the best memory that you can make here in St. Petersburg, the Venice of the North. On your way to the Church of the Savior on Spilled Blood, you will find numerous restaurants which are very popular among tourists here. There is an Italian restaurant, a Georgian restaurant, and of course, other Russian restaurants. On the other side of the road, you would find smaller shops which are selling souvenirs in the form of hats, dresses, masks, and so many other things that you can take as a gift for your family and friends in your home country. So, if you are looking for options to buy as souvenirs or gifts, you must come to this place because it's the heaven for shopping. The Church of the Resurrection of Jesus Christ, also known as the Church of the Savior on the Spilled Blood or even just the Church on the Blood, has got its name because it marks the spot where Alexander II was fatally wounded in an assassination attempt on March 1, 1881. Designed by Alfred Parland in the style of 16th and 17th century Russian churches, the Church of the Resurrection provides a stark and some would say a jarring contrast to its surroundings of Baroque, classical, and modernist architecture. Alexander II died of wounds inflicted in an attack by the terrorist group of People's Will. Immediately, his heir Alexander III declared his intention to erect a church on the site in his father's memory, and moreover, to have this church built in traditional Russian style, in distinction to what he saw as the contaminating Western influence of Petersburg. So right now I am here standing in front of the Church of the Savior on the Spilled Blood, which is across the street here at Nevskiy Prospekt, and you can see the beautiful church right behind me. Let's get inside and explore the interior. Eventually, after Alexander had rejected several architects' designs, Archimandrite Ignati gave the job to Parland and made the design himself. The church's final composition drew heavily from St. Basil's Cathedral in Moscow and the Vladimir Cathedral in Kiev. Construction began in 1883 and Ignati died shortly afterwards, leaving Parland to complete the job. After World War II, the church was used as a warehouse for the small opera theatre. The valuable shrine was almost completely destroyed. 4 jasper columns with mosaic mountings in them and a part of the balustrade were all that remained. Here you can see so many beautiful artwork on display. It really filled my heart with so much happiness to see these beautiful paintings. But it was not just painting that stole the show that day. It was this brilliant xylophone performance by these two gentlemen. Just take a look at their skill and art. Wasn't that an absolutely marvelous performance? Now let's get back to the history of the Church of the Savior on Spilled Blood. On July 20, 1970, the church was made a branch of the St. Isaac's Cathedral Museum, and 80% of the church's extraordinary restoration was funded by profits from St. Isaac's. The decades of deterioration and the restoration culminated in the dramatic reopening of the church in August 1997 when thousands of eager visitors swarmed the church. So I just got my tickets to enter the church. It's 450 rubles for an adult individual, but if you are a student and you have a student card, you will get a discount and your ticket price will be just 200 rubles. Now that we have got our ticket, let's not waste any more time and get straight inside the church. The interior of the church is absolutely stunning. This is a precautionary warning for all of you who is going to visit this church. Please be prepared to get shocked and marveled at the same time. Beautiful paintings, realistic drawings, portraits, and massively amazing mosaic work. That's how I describe the interior of the Church of the Savior on Spilled Blood. Once you are inside the church, you can hire a guide and you can pay an extra 200 ruble for getting that service in a language of your preference. But even if you are not interested in the history, or you can just look it up on the internet, you will definitely get lost in the beautiful paintings and architectural work. All throughout the walls of the building and also the ceilings, there's some beautiful and historic paintings all across the church. One of the most noticeworthy areas of the church is the place where there's a canopy made. But this canopy is actually the place where Alexander II was fatally wounded. He was bleeding profusely. That's the incident from which the name Church of the Savior on Spilled Blood is derived from. Once Alexander II died, in this very place, the church was built by his son Alexander III, and this entire beautiful monument since then has become a symbol, a landmark of St. Petersburg's rich history, gallantry, and bravery. Inside the church, you would also find some beautiful shrines. Most of these shrines were destroyed in the previous years, but some of them are still restored, and you can enjoy the beautiful architectural work of these shrines and monuments. You can also find several souvenirs, photographs, paintings, and pictures from the Easter years of St. Petersburg. For example, there's a picture of Leningrad during the blockade. There are also different artifacts, souvenirs, and priceless items for you to buy. Of course, they are very expensive because they are so rare, but if you have a taste for such things, you can definitely buy them and keep them at your home. So that was the tour of the interior of this amazingly beautiful church. On your way back, you will come across the Russian Museum, which is also full of beautiful paintings and historic artifacts, and you can surely pay it a visit. So this is the Russian museum that I am standing in front of. The ticket price is in fact not included with the church one, so the church one is separate, and this museum has its own ticket which costs around another 450 ruble. So today I'm not going inside this museum because I have already visited it before, but some other day maybe I will do a video for you guys in this museum. So today I am not going inside, and let's go back to our place. So that's it for this video. I hope you really enjoyed these two beautiful destinations at the Nevskiy Prospekt in St. Petersburg. You got to witness and learn a lot of things about the history of this city, and I hope that you will be staying on for more interesting videos in the future. So that's it from my side today. I will be seeing you again really soon. Stay tuned, and until then, stay happy and stay healthy.